Hi guys, I am Susan. I am an energy healer and an intuitive. With my business partner Jennifer, we run Orange Light Energy, a business that focuses on energetic healing and clearing services. So today what I wanted to do is talk through one of the sessions that I do, just to give more insights on it, more understanding, so you could know if it would be right for your energy to know what to expect. The session that I want to talk about is the Isis healing. So Isis is one of my guides. So I'm going to talk about her from the perspective of how her energy feels to me. You can find a lot of information about her online. You may have your own experiences with it. You may know other people who experience her differently. All of it is right. When you're working with an energy like Isis, there's so many parts to it that each of us is only seeing what we need to see. But for me, her energy is very much about empowerment. It's about strength. It's about being unafraid to be powerful. I can feel her beside me when there's things that maybe I'd be afraid of, things that would make me anxious, things that I might pull back from. I feel like she's behind me, kind of pushing me forward, being like, you got it, you can do this. It's that kind of energy. When I was trying to put this session together, I knew for a long time there would be an Isis session, but I didn't understand what it was. And this one is very different than a lot of the sessions that we do because it's much more of something that you would participate in. And working with God and Goddess energies is very different than working with Archangel energies. When I do healing sessions with Metatron, he will, take my hand and walk me through it. Here's what we're going to do. Look what's over here. We work together as a team. But working with the Goddess energy, she'll make you work for it. They got some darkness in them, and they'll be like, did you figure it out yet? And that's very much how this was to me. I knew it was coming, but it took time to mature, time to percolate, time for me to understand what it was, how it would come to be, what was its purpose. So the way she showed this was to talking about the wound of apathy, talking about this kind of feeling that you can't do something, that you're not enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not good enough. And having that pull you back from adventures, from opportunities, pulling you back. God, I can feel her. She's here because she's like, pull yourself back from the grandness of yourself. That's the Goddess energy right there. It's that being totally unafraid to look at your own power. To her, why would you choose to see yourself as weak? Why would you not want to be strong? And a lot of us have wounds around being strong. If you've had these abilities in lifetimes before, you've probably been persecuted. You have probably had struggles and trauma around that. If you've had lifetimes where you've been powerful, has it come to a good end, or has something happened that has made you go, I don't really want to do that again? And then look at our world now. What are our examples of power and strength? They're not usually paths of great light. They're people who are hungry for power, hungry for material gain. It's, people who push themselves forward often are on a different path than people who are doing this kind of work. And so, in general, it is a habit. It's a protective measure that we would pull ourselves back from that. And we've done it enough times that repetition kind of teaches us, I'm safe when I'm small. But Isis is like, no. This is the time. This is the time to be strong. You have to confront these fears, and you have to look at the things that you fear, the things that make you hesitate, and you have to overcome them. You have to confront them. You have to take back your power. You take back your strength, which can sound really intimidating. I don't want to put you off because her energy to me is everything. I just, that just willingness to push yourself, the fearlessness is something that I think is really powerful right now. Her energy, I am fairly sure, is how I ended up here on YouTube, because even the day before I made my first video, I would have sworn to you that I was never going to do this, even though my business partner Jennifer swore to me that I would about 2 years ago. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not my path. And then one morning I just woke up and I was like, oh, I have to go and do that. So here I am. But yeah, I remember I sat in a meeting with Jennifer and we tried to understand, what is this session? And she was like me. She's like, I can feel it, but I can't explain it. It was kind of like the way we were seeing it was like the beginning of a roller coaster when you go up that big hill, and then once you get to the top of the hill, you have the momentum for everything else. This was like, is the car stuck doing this at the bottom? You don't have the momentum to get up this first hill. That's where Isis comes in. You know, that's her plan, to be the one who picks up the car and puts it at the top, who gives you that push to get up the hill so that you can do all of the amazing fun parts, you know, to get you past what are the blocks, what are the restrictions, what are the things that are holding you back. And you know, I mean, I talk about her like she is a fierce energy, and she's about empowerment, and she is strong. But she is also full of compassion. She's a healer. She's a mother. You know, it's just making me feel emotional now. But it's this beautiful protective energy. It's a safe space to be healing in, to be doing this work. And the way this session works, we do some clearing in your energy. That work is done in the half hour before we would meet on the Zoom call, or at the time that we arranged if you don't want the Zoom. And it's funny because for us, crystal grids are our work area. You know, we're working remotely. So the crystal grid is where we work. This is the grid, so it's printout of the grid I use for the Isis healing. The light is getting in the way. I love this grid. No, it's purple, it's gold, it's regal, it's very goddessy. But this is my work area. So for me, you know, here's my area. I invite your energy onto the grid. And how these sessions work, it's always different. But for this one, when I was making the notes of how does this work, how do I do this, the first thing I have in my notes, Isis steps to the center of the grid, a golden staff in her hand. She radiates power and strength. Lightning comes from her body, connecting your energies and preparing for the work that shall be done. Like, that's just it. Right from the beginning, she's like, I am here. I am ready. Like, it's just her very first energy in this session is of strength, is of power, just totally unapologetically powerful. And that's what she wants to bring to us. It's not something to be ashamed of, to be strong and to be powerful. It's an amazing thing to be. No, but our ego can get in the way, our wounding can get in the way, and we pull ourselves back. So the things that we clear here, we work on clearing old thought patterns. No thought patterns, it's habits. What are the things that over time you repeat to yourself so much that you believe it? No, what are these things that, you know, are you telling yourself you can't do things, you're not strong enough, that you're not good at certain things, that you can't do this or you can't do that? No, getting rid of that stuff, giving yourself freedom from it, resetting those thought patterns, giving yourself clarity, neutrality, coming to this work free of that stuff, free of the preconceptions and the things that would hold you back from it. We clear low vibrational energies from around your soul. No, low vibrational energies, they'll amplify your doubts, amplify your fears, lowering your vibration, making it harder for you to rise up, harder for you to find these things that you're looking for, harder for you to come to the healing from a place where you are open and able to see what it is that you need to work through. We clear trauma. Trauma always, you know, it's like the layers of an onion. As soon as you clear some trauma, there's more that can be cleared. No, the trauma, it's, you know, how many lifetimes have you had? No, if you think every lifetime you've gone through these experiences, you've got the learning, but you're still holding to yourself all of these other parts that don't help you. When you're coming to the work in this lifetime, you don't need to be remembering a time when something didn't work out for you. 15 lifetimes ago, or a time when you were persecuted 100 lifetimes ago. You need to come to this knowing who you are now. What are your energies now? What do you need now? What will serve you best now? So we deal with that. Then we do energetic healing around the things that were cleared. And then we address energetic scarring. So energetic scarring is how we hold trauma. I mean, there can be other ways too, but this is the one that we address here. No, you're holding trauma to yourself. If every time something traumatic happens, you go, oh, I must remember this, and then that happens, something similar happens again, and you go, oh, when this happens, I keep it here. And you keep doing that, adding to something, compounding trauma that is being held onto. Often you do this just to remind yourself you don't want to do it again, but you still do because your soul is ambitious and you want to learn, you want to follow the path of learning, but you keep marking yourself, you keep holding it here. And then you get to this lifetime, something happens that triggers this, and it's like, this big wound, a big reaction, a big response to something that is, to other people, nothing. Something that looks like an overreaction, but to you, you're reacting not only from how it impacted you now, but how it has impacted you, 20, 30, 50, 100 times before. That makes it a much bigger reaction and a much bigger wound to be triggered. So by clearing that, you're lifting another weight from yourself, something else that would restrict you from looking at what it is that needs to be addressed. So after that, we bring down the light. Isis brings down her light. It's purple and gold, beautiful swirling light that comes down around the soul being worked on. Because always our work is done on a soul level. We're not just working on who you are now. We're working on your soul as a whole, all of the versions, all of the incarnations, because that way we can impact the wounding that's back there too. So you're doing this on a bigger scale. While you're in this light, there's a symbol that we bring into your energy, and I have your soul, your higher self, all of the versions repeat the wording after me that allows for Isis to place herself into your energy. No, it's about free will. If somebody's going to come into your energy, you have to give them permission. But I see her, on the grid, the energy is laid down. I see her lay her energy into yours. And when it's in there, it's like fireworks going off. It's like she's triggering things. She's activating things. She's restoring things. She's putting in place all of these things that are needed for the two of you to work together. I mean, this is, putting in place what is needed for you to access or to release whatever it is, but also it's like a secure connection. When you're going to go in there into the music with this and you're going to deal directly with her energy, it's a closed connection. It's like, I think like when we're on a Zoom call with a client, there's a specific code for that Zoom call. If somebody doesn't have the link, they can't come in. It can be a private room. That's what this is. She's activating and triggering the things that are needed, but she's putting in place the things for this connection that allow you this secure connection. So protections are in place so that you guys have this safe space to do this work, which is important because when this is done, then we have another symbol, more words that are said that take her back out of your energy, because obviously you don't want to just leave your energy open like that. Then we will talk on the call. There is a Zoom call, which we can do this without. I think it would be harder. I mean, you still can, depending on your comfort level. But I always like to record the Zoom call for this because we'll go over the work. But there's also a lot of things that will come up in conversation, questions that will get asked, things that will come through that will give you insight onto what it is that needs to be addressed. Because you're going to work directly with Isis on your healing. I've been the one who came in and did the work to clear the way for this work. But then we will send you with the notes from the session, with the information and the message that she had brought through, give you channeled music, and there's a grid, and there's a timeline on there that, if it feels helpful to you, can be stuck to, or you can go beyond that. You can do this in whatever way that you want. There's a lot of freedom to this, a lot of trusting your own energy, what feels right to you. But there's a little prayer and affirmation you say as you go into the music that's about accepting the healing, accepting these energies, welcoming in what can be offered. And, the music is about half an hour long. And it's just when you're in there, you're directly connecting with Isis. And the more you do that, the more you will feel her, the more you might notice she's around you. For me, she makes my eye twitch when she's there. Like if I don't realize she's in my energy, suddenly my eye starts to twitch and I'm like, oh, she's here. But I feel her now around me in times when I'm struggling, when I'm thinking that I can't do something. It's like that nudge behind me, that voice. It's like, you got this, go, go, go. A cheerleader, somebody who's going to push me forward. But when you're working in the energy, I mean, it can impact you in so many different ways because this path will be different for everybody. You may experience her energies while you're listening to the music, or it may impact you in a different way. It can be about what opportunities is she bringing to you. Is there things that suddenly show up in your life that help you to resolve something that has been creating a lot of difficulties for you? Things that show up in your life that allow you to address situations that have been difficult to talk about. But also it could be that you hear guidance, you see things, and whatever that is will be right for you. With this session too, I always advise people to journal, to map their progress. If you're listening to the music and you see a color, you hear a name, you feel a certain way, did you feel in a certain part of your body? Whatever it is that you get from the music when you're in it each day, write it down. What are the other things happening in your life? How are things changing? What is shifting for you? Because you can't limit this to only what happens when you're in the music. You have invited a goddess into your energy to help you to heal. She's going to help you in whatever way she knows are needed. And for everybody, it will be different. The things that she helped me with are totally different than things that clients have talked about. But always it's about empowerment. It's about helping you to move past your deepest wounds. In part, that's why you work with the channeled music, because as you're working in the music, as you're working with her directly, you don't have to talk about this with anybody else. This is just between you and her. You can feel these things, you can see them, but your soul doesn't have to share them outside of that. You don't have to come to a session and have somebody show you something or talk to you about something that you're just like, oh my God, why would they tell me about that? You can experience it in a more private way, in a more personal way, in a way that you can receive that is most beneficial for you. There have been things from this session that are ongoing for me. Things that have really changed in my life, things that I can talk about more openly with people because of the way that things shifted in the energy. But really, she's about empowerment, whatever that is for you, helping you to move forward on your path, helping you to move past these places where you feel stuck, helping you to move past the biggest wounds that you have, the biggest blocks that you have. An important part of this is mindset. How do you come to this? Do you come to it afraid of her energy? Do you come to this feeling like you can't do it? It's not going to work? If you do that, it's going to be a bigger struggle. I mean, it's going to get addressed for you. They're going to show it to you in whatever way they need to. But if you come to this just recognizing you are equals, if she's helping you now, you know her. This is an energy you are familiar with. We often perceive ourselves as less, but really we are their equals. We are here on an equal footing, and to think it is not so is a judgment that we are making. And that is a part of her message. Come to this open and ready. Come to it excited to do the work, open, and just allowing for whatever it is that will come. Allowing her to bring to you what it is, you probably told her before you even came to this time what it is that you wanted her to show you, the things that you wanted her to work on. Like, this is an adventure, and you're walking this path with a friend, somebody who is here to help you, to nurture you, to support you. And to come to it from a place of openness, from a place where you are unafraid, where you're ready and willing to just see what comes. You know, you may find some days you listen to the music while you're going for a walk, while you're taking a bath, while you're lying in bed. Sometimes you can listen to it, you know, while you're making dinner in the kitchen. It's about 30 minutes long, but if you listen to it for 10 minutes and think you're done one day, then you're done. You know, do it as it feels right for you. This is a process that is about your energy and what you need. It's about bringing you forward, giving you a tool that is yours. You know, you can continue. You have this access to her energy. I think on the website I had put 3 times a week for 7 weeks. You know, 21 days. 21 is always an important number. We use that in the guilt release too. 21 days is what Metatrend said was needed for cellular reprogramming, for reprogramming the way that you think about things. But if if you feel like doing it 3 times one week, 5 times the next week, 2 the next, do it your own way. You know, if whatever it is that feels right to you, all of this work is flexible. You know, there's not as many rules as we make ourselves think there are. You know, if you're doing something a certain way and it's not comfortable for you, modify it. Change it. Do it in the way that feels right for you, because being comfortable, feeling safe, feeling good in the energy while you're doing this work is huge. But that applies to everything, not just this session. But what else I want to say about this? I guess this session to me is, because it is so open, because it is ongoing. I welcome if people want to email with questions, looking for validation. If there's anything that is coming through you're not sure about, if there's things you just want to share, I love hearing about it. It's, you know, you're so involved in your own healing path with this. That's a part of it, you know, showing you your power. You took control of this. You can do it. And that is what Isis is all about. Just seeing your own power, being unafraid of your own power. I'm going to put the link to this session below. I can't help it. Every time I talk about her, I'm so excited about it because I love her energy. I'm going to show you two before I go. She's the only one that I have a statue of. I don't know why she really wanted it, but this is my statue of Isis. It felt like the right one to me, but I'm going to let her send a little of her energies out here while we're talking. You know, she's not threatening. She's not scary, even though it kind of sounds that way. When she talks about bringing change, about stepping up, you know, whatever step you take is right. Small steps, big steps. It's about being willing to change, being willing to be outside of what is comfortable, what you are used to, being willing to look at things differently. And there's a lot of strength in that. I know for a few people, when it has come to me sending them the link for the meeting, they have expressed that they're a little concerned, that they feel anxious about the meeting. And that's your soul. That's your soul knowing something is important. You know, it's your 3D self going, I don't like change. But your soul is going, yes, let's do it. Let it be. Like, look at her energy. Look how beautiful and calm and serene, how gentle she is. You know, this sounds like a lot, but it's an amazing journey to be on. So if any of you are interested in it, the link is below. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. But yeah, this is the Isis healing. This is my Isis statue. Love to you all. Bye.